What is going on, y'all, and welcome to week 15 of the Keto contest prep. So today, I want to talk about a few changes that have happened. So the first competition I'm doing is in March, so this March 2020, obviously, on the 28th, I believe. It's in Georgia, and because of that, today is the 14th of February, so I'm coming up on about a month out from that first show. And because of that, I want to kind of start manipulating things to see how my body's going to respond as I get closer to that peak week. And since this isn't the show that I'm peaking for necessarily, I kind of want to not really have to change things too drastically from what my current protocol is so that it doesn't really slow me down or hinder my ability to peak like I would like to for the main show in April. So because of that, I'm going to manipulate a few things for this competition's peak week, but it's going to be more of like a trial peak week for the April show. But I'm going to give this show, obviously, like any other show, everything I've got. So that said, one thing that I'm going to incorporate during peak weeks are keto contest prep refeeds. So basically, it's just keto caloric refeeds. You don't need a bunch of carbs the day before a show, as many people assume you need. You don't need that to fill out. You'll not get a better pump with it if you know what you're doing with a keto caloric refeed. And I would argue that I know what I'm doing with the keto caloric refeed. So what I've found to work really well in the past is basically a keto fathead pizza that's using like a little bit of almond flour, a little bit of cheese, and then some meat, especially using some anchovies. It helps to get the extra sodium in. Depending on what can of anchovies you incorporate, that's an extra 1,000 to 2,000 milligrams of sodium. You do want to tweak your electrolytes a little bit going into a refeed. However, I don't really want to do an actual caloric refeed now because I'm so far out from both this show and the main show that I'm peaking for. The keto pizza does have cheese in it. It has dairy. And apart from my heavy cream that I've been having in the mornings with my coffee, I haven't incorporated any dairy thus far in the entire contest prep. So I wanted to kind of see this week, let's throw in some dairy and just see how my body responds to the cheese. You don't typically want to add a whole bunch of new variables going into a peak week or just anything really contest prep related. The more you can know with a degree of certainty how your body's going to respond, the better. And since it's been a long time since I've had cheese, I wanted to kind of test that this week. So for this week's macros, I basically made a pizza. I didn't increase the calories at all because there was no need for a caloric refeed, but I did throw in the cheese, and Crystal basically made a smaller version of a fathead pizza with mozzarella cheese. All right, let me turn my computer off here. And that was perfect. My body didn't respond adversely whatsoever. I didn't wake up heavier the next day. I felt fine. My body weight, actually, I hit a new low today. It was 167.9, which is the lowest I've hit all contest prep, and I've been having those fathead pizzas every day this week. So that's been a success. So I can say with a pretty good degree of certainty that my body does not respond poorly to the cheese. I'm going to switch to a different type of cheese next week, but I'm going to do one more week of the fathead pizza just to see how my body responds to that. I'm going to do a cheddar next week to see if it's any different than the mozzarella that I use this week. But I feel pretty good about incorporating a fathead pizza for peak week, both in March and in April, now that I've had cheese this prep with no adverse effects. The next thing I want to get into is just some sleep patterns and things that you start to see changing as you get into, a lower caloric range. So let's dive into that. I wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning every day. I feel great waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I typically go to bed around 8 or 9 at the latest. If I wake up at 3, that gives me plenty of sleep. I feel good. I feel like $1 million when I wake up. However, when you get deeper into a contest prep, I don't know if it's because your body just switches over into this like survival mode or what, but calories are lower, and for whatever reason, I personally just get wired. Like, waking up at 3 is pretty early in itself, don't get me wrong, but I've been waking up before my alarm ever goes off at 3. Like, I've been waking up at 1:30 just by default. Like, I'll go to bed, and then I'll wake up wired at 1:30. And I like that in the sense that I just have another hour and a half of productive time because I can't really go back to sleep once I wake up. Like, I start thinking about business. I just start thinking about life, and then I'm ready to go. So I can't really go back to sleep, so I'll just wake up and start hustling. But that isn't really sustainable long term, especially in the context of a prep. I mean, you've got so many stressors on your body. You've got so many changes happening. The last thing you want to do is just deprive yourself of sleep as well. And I think, there's not that I know of any science that backs up my theory here. There may be, there may not be. But my theory is that, if you were to look at human, nature from an evolutionary perspective years and years ago, just from a survival standpoint, if you're starving and if you need food to make it another day, the last thing your body's going to be telling you to do is sleeping. Like, you need to be up hunting. You need to be up looking for game. You need to be up looking for roots that you can forage around and get some nutrition in. So I feel like I'm kind of dipping into the point where my body's recognizing that, hey, look, calories are not coming in at a surplus anymore. Calories are not even coming in at a maintenance anymore. Something's changing. Let's wake up and start hunting for food. And obviously I have to fight that urge because I'm trying to do a contest prep and lose as much body fat as possible, so I can't just give into that and eat more. I honestly haven't been miserable from like a hunger standpoint whatsoever. The OMAD has been going great. I've been doing that consistently still. I just feel like I'm at that point where my body's like kind of pushing me awake to start doing things, which, like I said, I kind of like because I get more productive hours in. But that's kind of like my take there. A lot of people have said the same thing. So if you do a contest prep, you notice at some point when your calories get lower that you just tend to wake up more ready to go, and you're alert. You're not like dragging. Like if I'm in a caloric surplus and I get that little sleep, I feel more tired. Whereas when I'm in a caloric deficit and I get that little sleep, I feel pretty productive all day long. I don't feel like I need to take a nap or anything. So that's that. One interesting thing to note. That said, let's dive into the updated posing and go from there. So, all right, boom. We got the front relax pose there. Transition to the side. I can tell that my I keep saying that the definition of my shoulder caps is getting better, but it just keeps getting better and better each week, especially in my hamstrings there and my lower back. Like everything's just getting much tighter. I'm getting more separation throughout the entire upper and lower region. I see it more in my quads. I didn't quite open up like I needed to on that front lat spread, but the front double bicep, you can see more separation in my biceps and triceps. And then look at the legs there. Like my glutes are starting to come in. You can kind of tell from these side chest and side tricep poses that my legs are coming in a lot sharper. Still holding a little bit of body fat in the lower back, but I'm starting to get that Christmas tree look popping, which is exciting for sure. I'm starting to get more vascularity in my back, which is a good sign as well. So, got the back double bicep there. I need to make sure that I'm opening up fully there. That's an easy one to not fully open up, so I need to be conscious of that. My side chest from the left is getting better. Still not perfect. That's kind of the variation of the side tricep I'm going to try and do. I could definitely see a difference in this next pose here. My overhead abdominal thigh is just getting much tighter. I'm starting to get some vascularity in my abs. You're not really going to tell that from this video, but I can see it in the mornings when I wake up. Front lat spread there. Again, the most muscular pose, that's my money shot right there. That's where I'm at. And that's pretty much all we got for this one.